In the early 1980s in Los Angeles, high school student Gary leads a busy life balancing his schoolwork with his job as a pizza delivery boy for Pink Pizza. His afternoons are filled with the hustle and bustle of delivering hot pizzas around town. Gary's closest friends are Rick, who is known for his smooth-talking charm and knack for wooing the ladies, and David, who, despite being overweight, carries himself with a remarkable sense of confidence and self-assuredness. One night, while hanging out at a local soda shop, Gary's routine takes an unexpected turn. As he sips his drink and chats with Rick and David, his attention is suddenly drawn to a new face in the crowd. Karen, an exceptionally beautiful new student who has recently moved to the neighborhood, walks in with her best friend Rose. The moment Gary lays eyes on Karen, he experiences an instant and intense feeling of infatuation. Her presence captivates him completely, making it feel as though time stands still. After the girls leave the soda shop, Gary's curiosity gets the better of him. He approaches the cashier and asks if he knows who Karen and Rose are. To Gary's disappointment, the cashier reveals that he has never seen them before and has no information about them. Gary is left with a lingering sense of wonder and a newfound determination to learn more about the girl who has so profoundly affected him at first sight. Gary later meets up with Rick and David at the same soda shop, where the three friends entice three girls under the pretense of offering them some devil's dandruff. Once they arrive at Gary's house, the guys hand the girls Sweet and Low, which they snort. As Rick and David get ready to make advances on two of the girls, Gary is left with Millie, who is both overweight and socially awkward. As Gary struggles to cut off Millie's top with a pair of scissors, his parents unexpectedly return home, plunging the situation into utter chaos. The sudden arrival of his parents sends everyone into a frenzy, scrambling to deal with the unexpected disruption. In the midst of the commotion, David finds himself inadvertently left behind in the house. Unaware that Gary's parents are now home, David, who had been in the back bedroom with a blonde girl, makes his way back into the house. Believing the girl is still waiting for him in bed, he heads to the bedroom, clad only in his underwear. He climbs into bed, only to be met with a shocking and embarrassing reality: he has inadvertently joined Gary's mother instead. The sight of her sends David into a state of panic. Both David and Gary's mother are startled and horrified by the mix-up. In a flurry of confusion, David bolts out of the house in his underwear, with Rick and Gary anxiously waiting for him outside in the car. The next day, Gary, Rick, David, and others ridicule their classmate Victor for spying on the girls' locker room through a peephole. In response to their bullying, Victor claims to have a larger member than any of them, forcing the lads to compete by measuring each other's erect members to see who has the largest. Soon, a complicated romantic triangle begins to unfold involving Karen, Rick, and Gary. Gary, determined to get closer to Karen, seizes the opportunity by offering to give her a ride to school because of her bike troubles. However, he secretly deflated her tires, hoping that the resulting inconvenience would give him a chance to spend more time with her. Despite his manipulative efforts, Karen remains unimpressed and unresponsive. Gary persistently tries to court her both during the bike ride and afterward, but his advances are met with indifference. Later that evening, at a party hosted at David's house, Gary is shocked to find Karen and Rick engrossed in conversation and spending a lot of time together. His jealousy and frustration grow as he sees Karen laughing and interacting closely with Rick, who seems to be effortlessly winning her attention. Gary makes several attempts to divert Karen's focus away from Rick and onto himself, but she only responds with a blank, uninterested stare. Disheartened and disillusioned, Gary heads home feeling defeated. The disappointment of the evening is compounded when he arrives to find himself heavily intoxicated. In his drunken state, he makes a series of embarrassing blunders in front of his parents' dinner guests, further adding to his feelings of humiliation and regret. The next day, Gary delivers pizza to Carmela, a stunning Latina woman whose sailor lover is never home, and she expresses her need for more than just pizza. He flees and persuades his companions to accompany him to her house since he is too terrified to investigate further. Carmela got it on with Rick and David, but her boyfriend Paco gets home right as Gary is about to have his turn, leading them to flee. In an effort to drive a wedge between Rick and Karen, Gary and David hatch a plan to distract Rick by taking him to meet a sharp-tongued, patronizing woman of the night who works a busy corner along the highway. Gary, hoping to create a diversion, persuades Rick to join them for what he promises will be an unforgettable experience. However, the reality of the situation turns out to be far from enjoyable. Gary's interaction with the woman is marked by awkwardness and discomfort, leading him to feel nauseous and eventually vomit from the stress and embarrassment. Hi movie buffs, don't forget to hit the subscribe, like, share, and bell button. It's free and it really helps. You'll be notified of each new recap. The following day at school, the boys are met with an unexpected and troubling discovery: they have all contracted pubic lice. Panicked and desperate, they attempt to solve the problem by immersing themselves in a public swimming pool, hoping that the water will help eradicate the pests. Their plan proves futile, leaving them no choice but to seek professional help. Their next stop is a local pharmacy, where they must face an amused middle-aged pharmacist. With little choice but to explain their predicament in detail, the boys awkwardly present their issue. The pharmacist, finding their situation both entertaining and unfortunate, listens with a mix of sympathy and amusement as they seek advice on how to tackle their uncomfortable problem. After Rick and Karen's encounter results in Karen becoming pregnant, Rick reacts with remarkable callousness, choosing to end their relationship without any consideration for her well-being. Deeply hurt and infuriated by Rick's cold behavior, Gary decides to confront him. The confrontation takes place in the school library, where the tension escalates into a physical altercation. During their heated exchange, Rick accuses Gary of jealousy, while Gary angrily denounces Rick as a lowlife, adding to the intensity of their confrontation. Determined to support Karen through this difficult time, Gary resolves to help her cover the expenses for an abortion. He takes drastic measures, selling off most of his personal belongings and borrowing money from his job to ensure that Karen can afford the procedure. After the abortion, Gary and Karen retreat to Gary's grandmother's house for the weekend, seeking a quiet place to recover and find some solace. During their time alone, Gary takes on the role of caretaker, nursing Karen back to health and providing emotional support. As they spend time together, Gary opens up about his true feelings for Karen, expressing his genuine love and commitment. Karen seems to reciprocate his feelings, and their emotional connection deepens. They share a heartfelt kiss, which leads to a more intimate moment between them, solidifying their bond. Karen later invites Gary to her 18th birthday celebration, a significant milestone in her life. Eager to make the occasion special, Gary saves up additional money and purchases a gold locket engraved with a personal message for Karen. He hopes the thoughtful gift will convey his affection and appreciation. As Karen celebrates her birthday, the locket becomes a symbol of their renewed connection and the deepening of their relationship. When Gary arrives at Karen's birthday celebration, he is filled with anticipation and hope, believing that the gift he has carefully chosen for her and the affection he has shown will pave the way for a meaningful relationship. However, his expectations are soon crushed when he witnesses Karen and Rick sharing a passionate kiss. The sight is jarring and disheartening, especially considering the emotional turmoil and difficulty Karen has faced, and despite Gary's unwavering support and commitment to her. Gary feels an intense sense of betrayal and sorrow as he observes Karen, who had once been at the center of his thoughts and efforts, openly favoring Rick once again. The painful realization that his devotion and the sacrifices he made for Karen have meant so little to her is almost unbearable. Despite the emotional weight of the situation, Gary remains silent, unable to confront Karen or Rick amidst the celebratory atmosphere of the party. Carrying the carefully wrapped gift he had bought for Karen, a token of his love and appreciation, Gary makes his way to the exit. His heart feels heavy as he walks away from the party, unable to process the overwhelming mix of emotions. Once outside, he gets into his car and drives home alone. The journey back is a blur of pain and disappointment. Tears begin to flow uncontrollably down his cheeks as he drives, each tear symbolizing the heartbreak and disillusionment he feels. The night feels cold and lonely, reflecting the deep sense of loss and rejection Gary is experiencing. When this first came out and I watched it, I believe this is the first time that I have understood what simping was. Thanks for watching. If there's anything you would like to see, let me know in the comments below. Until next time, stay safe.